He's on the stage teaching. Mid-lesson, he removes the trench coat in front of all the kids, but underneath the trench coat, he's wearing nothing but a woman's leopard print one-piece bathing suit. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Youth Group Chronicles. In the studio with me today, I have Mr. Isaiah Smallwood. And brand new to the show, I think he's listened to an episode or two, so he said.
It's true.
Mr. John Cuomo.
What's up, man?
How's it going, bro? Welcome to the show.
Thanks, man.
If this is your first time listening, John and Isaiah are going to blind react to some of the craziest stories the internet can muster when it comes to youth ministry. So we'll kick that off right now. These are email submissions. Awesome. And if you're listening to this and you are a student, maybe you're a pastor.
I feel like I'm on the way up on a roller coaster.
Bro, you're here.
You're just on the way up. You're here, bro.
Send them into the show, ygchronicles@gmail.com. So this is from Joram S.
How is that name spelled?
Joram.
Okay.
Why?
I thought you were mispronouncing Jerome.
No, I don't think so.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
He said,
sorry, Joram. Sorry.
I apologize.
Pardon my friend.
I'm so sorry.
Pardon my friend.
One night at youth group, we were watching a video for that night's sermon. And during the video, our youth leader's baby was crying a little bit in the back. So afterward, I got up in front of the entire youth group. Actually, he did. I'm sorry. And he said, I apologize for the baby making noise in the back.
Hey.
Red face. Had to be.
I want to know when he realized what he said.
I feel like eventually some of these people got to follow up and be like, here's the aftermath of me saying sorry about the baby making noises in the back.
No matter what, you got to just not apologize. Because, hey.
You can just play dumb.
Nah, after you say that, just be like, hey, I'm sorry for the baby making noise in the back.
I had imagined that he had to reset and be like, I'm sorry for the baby making noise in the back. Like, just re-enunciate.
I'm saying it straight up. My bad.
Well, you're not Joram, so...
Yeah, you're right.
Paula M.
cuts
said,
off all the fun.
One time our youth group attended a conference and there was a breakout session about dating. The teacher, who was male college age, starts talking about when we date, there's places where we shouldn't go to touch on another person. Now, he's wearing a trench coat. And he's on the stage teaching, by the way. Mid-lesson, he removes the trench coat in front of all the kids. But underneath the trench coat, he's wearing nothing but a woman's leopard print one-piece bathing suit. He then says that anywhere the bathing suit is covering, your hands should not be touching while dating.
Oh my gosh, dude. No. Time out. Is this a fail? This is not a fail. That wasn't intentional.
This is someone in the crowd that said they were at this conference.
Isaiah, you take a second, buddy. How do you...
He said, y'all want to see it?
bro. I want to be in the idea room where he's like, yo, tonight I'm going to wear this.
Hear me out.
But hear me out. I'm going to wear a trench coat over it and then reveal myself.
He said...
Oh my gosh.
I got something for these kids.
These are children.
I got something for these kids.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all want to see what?
I have more.
Y'all shouldn't touch in these places.
Oh my god.
That's hilarious. Honestly,
I would have just walked
that's
out.
funny. Like, that's comedy.
Wait. If you were there, you'd be like, that's hilarious?
Yes, I
Or
would have
after the fact?
cried. No, I would have cried.
I'm sorry, I just can't get on board with that.
Honestly, I'm just
No
so
way.
different, bro. Literally, I would have just looked at her and cried.
It would be funny, but if I was like 13, I'd be like, okay.
Imagine being the youth pastor with 30 kids, in the congregation.
Those kids are scarred.
For sure.
He probably had a hairy chest like Sam.
No dude should be wearing a woman's bathing suit. That's all I have to say. And that image in my mind is burned now.
That is hilarious.
The image isn't, you didn't even see it. And the imagination of that image is burned into your mind. That's how bad that is.
All I'm picturing is a wrestling singlet.
No, bro. You know what I'm picturing?
What?
We should probably...
I'm picturing, no. Listen to me.
Go ahead.
Listen to me. I'm picturing this skinny Caucasian male, long hair, like long hair.
I didn't see the long hair. I saw short.
With like a beard, right? And then he's got like a hairy chest.
And
it's like a low
t-shirt
cut.
hairy.
Yeah.
Like he's wearing a brown shirt.
And it's like he's got like a low cut. You know what I mean? Like
capital B.
And it's just like
coming out.
You know what I mean? And he's just like, y'all want to see it?
Hamilton Chandler. This is another email submission. My biggest youth ministry fail was when I interned for my church's youth ministry one summer. I was preaching one last time before I went back to school. And to preface, sometimes when I speak in public, I get a little too anxious and slip up on my words. So at one particular instance, instead of saying feeling stuck, I said stealing bleep. Yes, I in fact dropped an F-bomb in front of 200 students and their
my
parents.
Goodness. Oh my gosh. What do you do when that happens?
You go. You just
go
keep
home?
going. No, you keep going. You just keep going. Laugh about it. Keep going.
I feel like I'd be like stealing. I'm so sorry. Let me switch up my words.
I would probably go home. That would be it for me. I'd be like, oh.
Could you ever face
Guys.
any of those 200 kids ever again?
Yes. I once called a room full of like 100 kids just ugly. It was an accident, but I did it.
No.
It was an accident, but I did it. I was like, Jesus made you guys ugly. And it was bad. Like everybody it got quiet. And I was like,
no kidding.
You called them ugly.
I was like, it's not what I meant. And I just kept going. So like, I mean, the F word is a lot worse.
It's true.
But
it is true.
Hey, do better. You know what I mean?
I feel like those are the ones that happen.
There's been a few stories about that, like sun bleeper. Remember that?
Yeah.
Jesus is nothing but a fun sucker.
I saw you process
That's wild.
in your head really quick before
not gonna
you
lie.
said that.
Every time I read these stories, I read them so slow not all the stories, but those ones specifically, because I'm like,
Sam's a boss.
I
Man.
have to make sure. Yeah,
Right, we
I
can't
would be
ruin
the
this
one.
audio.
I would be the
You
one
would,
to say it on the
actually.
show. I really
It'd be
would.
so
Homeschooler.
funny. And then you read. Whoa, homeschooler? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
you're
I'm
outnumbered.
also
You're
homeschooled.
outnumbered.
I don't
bro.
care. I
We're
truly
representing today.
Homeschooler
representing
is
what?
if we were closer, I would literally give him a high
Cool
five.
kids. What'd you say?
I'd give you a high five. If we
You're
were closer.
one?
Let's go air
There we
five.
go. There we
This
go.
is weird.
Do what I
This is
want.
weird. I'm surrounded.
We're going to go to some embarrassing stories now. Corey said, here's my most embarrassing youth ministry story. Backstory. One of our paid youth staff members came into my office to tell me that he discovered a lump on his balls and that he called the doctors for an appointment that day. Fast forward to the next night, and I was teaching in front of our middle school and high school
You can't
students.
You can't laugh at that. There's nothing funny about that yet.
I want to know how that conversation went. Hey, man. I was feeling around. And I felt something weird.
This isn't the story yet. That's not the story.
I felt something weird, on my balls.
It's not funny yet. It's not funny yet.
Everything's funny to Isaiah. It's okay.
He's just on the computer. Hey, man. There's a lump on my balls.
I need to talk to you.
Hey, Pastor, can I talk to you for a
Can we go into the
second?
sanctuary, man? This is serious.
I need to show you something.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my gosh, bro.
Can you check? You feel the same thing I feel,
You always
right?
got to take it there.
Fast forward to the next night, I was teaching in front of our middle school and high school students, which was about 70
It's gonna
kids.
happen, man.
I'm excited.
And I was using his computer to project on the screens. I was going to use Google and to type something in for the illustration when
No.
the search history popped up, and the only thing on the search history was the phrase, quote, lump on balls.
No way. That is so funny, man. Oh, my gosh.
not the church computer.
And he can't be like, oh, no, that was this kid that came to me. Oh, my gosh, that's so funny.
His wife was probably like,
You just try to brush past,
man.
well, that's a really weird thing to be up in Google. Moving on.
it said, most recent.
That's
Lump
so
on balls.
funny.
Well, thank you for that, Corey.
Wow.
That was a good
was
story.
great.
Sorry
Corey.
about that, Corey.
Apollo S said,
Sick name.
Apollo is a cool name.
That's an
I don't-
awesome
It is fire.
This is my most embarrassing youth ministry story. When I was at summer camp, we were sharing the campus with a senior citizen arts and crafts group who were not from our church. Our adult-led worship team had their own cabin tucked away from the rest of the group so they could actually get some rest during the week. And one of my older adult leaders had the bright idea to put on a giant dog mascot costume and sneak into the worship team's cabin to wake them up for a prank video. After he snuck into their cabin, we were recording him as he tapped our sleeping worship leader's shoulder. And then we realized it. we weren't actually in the worship team's cabin, and somehow we accidentally ended up in the senior citizen cabin.
You're all the way in there. They're all the way in this place.
Oh, yeah.
You can't be like
In the bedroom.
No, we're just
the guy's
kidding.
sleeping.
Just kidding.
And how are you going to say just kidding when you're wearing a dog mascot
No, you're
costume?
in a dog costume.
Oh my god, that is hilarious.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh, I can't even. The instant shame that would be like, oh my gosh, I am in huge trouble. That's when your mind starts racing. You're like, they're probably gonna call the cops on me.
Nah,
I'm
that's
gonna
hilarious.
They were never welcomed back to the camp. We'll just say that's what he
They
told me.
probably cordially accepted being banished from the campground.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome.
I'm crying, y'all. I've never cried on this show.
The best part. Shout out to Apollo. That was a really good job telling that story because you could like feel the end of it. It was like, oh
You
my
kind of
goodness,
knew what was coming.
bro.
for sure. Shout out
Oh
Apollo.
my
That was
gosh,
so funny.
bro. Dorothy's probably. She was probably so afraid.
Wait, who?
Dorothy.
Oh,
you
the
know.
old lady
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
probably named
yeah,
Dorothy.
Yeah.
What's the old guy name that's
Reginald.
there? Dorothy and Reginald. Are they married?
No.
Sorry, I
No.
shouldn't have
course not.
assumed.
That one, when I read that, it really caught. Some of these I'll read to my wife, and I'll just be like, "Oh, you'll have to listen to this." This was one of the ones. That was one of the
Do
ones.
you
that,
just really quick? You read through all of these beforehand?
Oh, he has to.
yeah, I've gotten some that just can't share.
Can you send me those? I want to
That'll
know.
be for the premium podcast when you
Yeah,
like
the
have
premium-
like one
the-
on like
yeah.
you should.
Patreon or something like.
We've thought about what's. We're gonna start an.
I don't think that's for
a youth
podcasts,
group.
but
Youth
sure.
Group Chronicles OnlyFans.
It's just
the
it's just you
ones
shirtless
can't be
telling
shared.
stories that you shouldn't be telling.
I'll have my
Yo, I
toes
will
out.
say, they have.
I'll pull the dogs out for it.
That's no toes. You have to specify toes. Dogs could be something that has a lump on them. You know how that is.
So
I have never heard balls referred as dogs.
I actually haven't either. But
That's crazy.
I can
Well,
see
what
it.
are you?
Toes, bro, your feet.
All right,
Dogs.
that's on me.
Because
That's
they
on me.
bark.
You're right.
When they smell. Wow. I thought you would know as a homeschooler.
No, I definitely had to fill in a lot of blanks with being homeschooled. Honestly, we're not talking about being homeschooled today, but when you're homeschooled, you don't hear a lot of words.
That's
like
true.
you read them and you got to figure out what they say.
Like Kane West. I mean, come on. Give a guy a break.
Kane West. For a very
hate
long
you.
time,
Kane West.
for a very long time in my life, I thought centrifugal force was, and I said it out loud, centrifugal force. So many times.
thought-
Embarrassing.
One time
To do that in
when
front of your
reading in
friends.
front of people, I said conscience instead of conscience.
Conscience.
Yeah.
I have laughed so much
Oh my gosh.
that my face is starting to twitch.
I know. My eyes are definitely red.
All right, this is a story from Sam H. Sam said, "My most embarrassing youth ministry story was when I accidentally drew what resembled two male genitals facing each other when I was trying to quickly draw the Ark of the Covenant. Luckily, my oldest son was the only student who saw it, and he said, 'What are you trying to draw?'"
His son was like, hey,
His son saved him as well.
hey, Dad, that doesn't look like whatever you're trying to go for. It doesn't look like that.
Let's not. Yeah.
He like draws an arrow to it that says Ark of the Covenant.
Are you still
Nothing
trying to
else.
figure out what the Ark of the Covenant looks like, Isaiah?
How can you draw two penises in place of the Ark of the Covenant?
Have you ever
Like drawing
seen
fast.
like the
Just go back to your-
wings, like the angels or whatever, on like the corners? That's what I'm guessing happened.
Don't they like come up and
Yeah.
over?
I just don't
Yeah.
understand how you can draw penises.
I'll show you what I think is what happened afterwards, but that's my
They
guess.
should have added a picture for this one. That would be great.
That actually would have been
That
Some
would've
people
been
do
fantastic.
send in
Honestly,
pictures.
I would have cried.
All right, this is from George B. My most embarrassing youth ministry story was when we had to do a scavenger hunt while on a mission trip. I had a group of teenage boys, and one of the items we needed could be found in a Vietnamese store, which happened to be called, no joke, Thang Long.
Nice.
Not doing this. I'm not doing this.
Thang Longs. You've never been to Thang Longs? You mean to tell me that you never even once stepped foot in Thang Long?
That thing long, ain't it?
Therein lies the joke. Yes, I think that was what the joke was.
That thing long, ain't it?
Oh my goodness! I want to know what the item. What was the
what
item
was
that was
inside of Thang
I don't know
Long?
what was in Thang Long.
What was inside?
I don't know what was in Thang Long. That's a good
my
question,
gosh.
though. Howard L. said
That was the story.
that was a story. Yeah, yes.
Thang Long is the punchline.
I feel like we needed more.
I
That
feel like I
wasn't
really
enough?
wanted to
Yeah,
know
I needed more.
what they were
Like,
looking for
wait.
inside that story.
That's a good question.
Probably something
Wait,
mundane.
They'll probably let
that
us know.
sounded crazy.
I didn't hear it, so I'm gonna pretend like it didn't happen. And you won't know either because you don't listen back to the podcast.
Honestly. All right. Howard L. said, one time we were having a training meeting for an upcoming youth mission trip. In that meeting, I was giving out team assignments for everyone. Well, without thinking it through, I called the team that was going to walk the streets doing door-to-door evangelism streetwalkers.
That's not what they are. That's not that. That's something totally different. Like, all right, streetwalkers, you guys head out that way to the corner.
What do you do for your church? I'm a streetwalker.
Streetwalker. Yeah, I'm a streetwalker at First Baptist down here.
Not First Baptist. The first church.
The First Church of Streetwalkers. You haven't heard of it?
Oh God.
Couple more here. This is from Jacob Duffin. Jacob said, one time when I was in high school, I borrowed the church computer to burn a CD for a friend. I thought I deleted all the songs off the computer, but it turns out I left Dark Horse by Katy Perry on there. So I hit shuffle after service for ambient music, and all I heard was the beat for that song, and I had to sprint to the computer to quickly skip it. Can you imagine like prayer time afterwards?
That's like
trying to do
That's
ministry?
when you got one foot in and one foot out.
It's like
That is why the Lord says not to be on the fence.
Bro, can you imagine? He's like, in Jesus' name, amen. All right, have a good week, church. Have a good week. It's like, he's like, no, please, not that.
End of all, Katy Perry.
All right, guys, this wraps up another episode of Youth Group Chronicles.
Come on.
Appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah.
If you are listening to the show and you have some stories you want to send in, ygchronicles@gmail.com.
Send 'em in,
Send
man.
them in. We have TikTok, and then we also post those on Instagram.
IG.
That's YG Chronicles as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for listening to the show. Isaiah, John, this was a blast, guys. Thanks so
Pleasure,
much.
man. Thanks for having me.